Hi everyone, it's Shannon, aka QB Crossing. I hope you are having a wonderful day so far. Today we are back with another Dream Island tour, and this one is a beautiful beachy town. Lots of whites and beiges and greenery, and I just adore it. So I cannot wait to share it with you guys. And let's get started by checking out the island map. Okay, so this is the island map. I love how minimal it is with the terraforming. The island is pretty flat because it's a very structured town, and we can see that especially through the left and middle backside of the island. There is some cliffs over to the right side and the back of the island, and a little bit of some water canals through here. The Dream address is on the screen, as well as the creator socials, and there are also 2 resident reps. I think their houses are decorated, so we will definitely be going inside checking those out as well. So some interior inspiration and lots of cute little villagers on the island. I love how colorful it is because this island is very kind of muted in color, lots of whites and greens. So I think having those colorful villagers is a really cute touch to the island. So before we get into it, let's just take a quick second to thank today's sponsor. HelloFresh brings fresh, chef-crafted meals straight to your door. With their largest menu ever, offering over 50 dinner options, you'll never get bored with your meals again, and there is something for everyone. This week, we chose the bavette steak, chicken with maple Dijon sauce, and crispy buffalo spice chicken. The easy-to-follow recipe cards are also the best. It's so easy to follow, and we've learned so many cooking techniques and tricks along the way. Each meal comes with fresh, pre-portioned ingredients, so you only pay for what you need, saving both time and money at the grocery store. Plus, every box is customizable to suit your preferences. You can choose from options like fit and wholesome, family friendly, quick and easy, vegetarian, and more. It's also super flexible. You can adjust delivery dates or skip a week whenever you need to, which was really helpful for us this week. We just returned from vacation yesterday, so we were so happy to come home to our HelloFresh box and not have to go to the grocery store or meal prep while we were already so tired. Our favorite from this week was the crispy buffalo spice chicken. It was so easy to make and it was absolutely delicious. We will be ordering it anytime it is offered on the HelloFresh menu. And for a limited time, HelloFresh is offering my viewers 10 free meals plus free breakfast for life. This offer is available for new subscribers in the US. You can just scan the QR code on screen or use the code in the video description to get started. Thank you all so much for supporting my channel, and a big thank you to HelloFresh. Now let's get back to today's video. Okay, so here we are at the entrance of the island. Look at how beautiful this is. Like I said, tons of whites, greens, beiges. This is so beautiful and just definitely an aesthetic that I would love to do myself on an island. Even there is one of the resident reps dressed so cute, matching their island so well. I love that we start off with these different paths. They've really done a good job at mixing and matching some of these different pathways, kind of zooming in a little bit here to see all of the work that they've done. It's actually super hard to really make all of these paths work harmoniously with each other. So I love that they did that. And we are starting off with 2 resident rep houses right at the front. There's also really clear kind of pathways to go down, and they've even decorated all of these little kind of side areas very nicely as well. I know it's really hard to think about what to do to decorate the kind of edges of a path, so this is really great inspiration with some of these bistro tables and hedges and plants all throughout here. So before we go in that house, I kind of want to check out just the whole entrance area, and then we can go inside some of the interiors. So right here, this house is really pretty. It's fitting in with this really white and airy aesthetic, and they even have a little sign out here. Maybe it's like kind of a garden shop or something of the sort for one of the villagers. And then here we have one of the resident rep houses, which we will go in just a moment. And actually, oh, I thought that was another resident rep house, but this is just a villager house here. But you can see how nicely all of these houses really match. Even just having that consistent roofing throughout really helps to have that consistency. And they've just done so much great work here. Like even with these medieval walls coming through, it just adds a little bit of dimension and depth to the island, which I really appreciate. I love when I walk through an island and it just feels so realistic and really immerses you within that space. So since we are here, I think let's just go in this interior and check out this first rep house. So this is so beautiful. I am getting a lot of that kind of white beachy vibe throughout here, and they've done such a great job of just kind of like breaking out the room with these different walls I think that's so difficult to do. I don't know. I think interiors are pretty hard, but they're also one of my favorite things to design in the game. And just look at all of the detail down to these like headphones on the table and this little kind of tablet setup on the kitchen table. That is so cute. They've just done so much great stuff with the detail here when it comes to all of the different things that they have on the walls, on the ceiling. They have some kind of like wires up on the wall here as well too, which is a very nice touch. Really makes it feel kind of like lived in and realistic. And then over here to this side, over to the right, there's another kind of seating area, which is super cute with the socks on the floor, some of the newspapers as well. And then even just the little touches like the radiator and the skateboards up there also. In this back room, they have a little bit of some darker lighting. It still has that very white and airy vibe, but we have some darker woods throughout here. It kind of looks like a little bit of a music area, and just so much great kind of detail going on throughout here when it comes to the little table, a lot of that consistent kind of artwork on the wall as well. And even all throughout here, they have some photos, like they have KK Slider, really great little touches. And look at the wall on the back. It has a kind of like brick cottage feel, and then it has that mix of the more tile wall. So the way that they were mixing their paths outside, they're doing that as well in here with some of the wallpapers, which is really cool. Oh, this room over to the left is so quaint and cute. I love all of the different codes that they have for the doors and some of the stuff on the wall also. That is so just precious. I haven't seen any of these codes before, and I really like it. I think honestly codes make such a big difference of making your spaces feel unique, because we all have kind of the same items to work with, but I really like this kind of like blue and white feel in here, all the different lighting that they have going on. It really makes the room just kind of come to life, and I would love for this to be kind of my little vanity room. That's what it feels like here. I don't see a bed, so this is just a great little kind of vanity closet area. So the room over to the right here looks like a little bit of like a dining room, kitchen type of area. We have a table in the middle, and then again, they're mixing these wallpapers really nicely. I love the way that they're doing that, and I always kind of forget to mix wallpapers, especially in smaller rooms, but it just adds so much life to the space to have a little accent wall. And again, they're just kind of curating all these different items so beautifully together. I am kind of inspired to do an interior myself now, because it's just such a fun, different way of decorating than it is on the exterior of an island. Okay, so upstairs, this is probably the master bedroom. Again, really great work with the different columns and walls and the ways that they're separating everything out. We have a green accent wall over to the left here. Tons of artwork. There's a very much this like kind of greenery plant theme going on throughout the island and in the interiors as well. And this placement of the bed is really cool because we get some dimension in the back and front of the space. So using that little record player as well as some of these little smaller areas for shelving is really nice. Plus a little place to kind of sit, have breakfast. It's just so quaint. And they're mixing in some real artwork as well in here. Down in the basement, this is so gorgeous. Definitely a little bit of a kind of beachy cottage feel in here, and this is just somewhere that I would love to be. I would love for a basement to look like this. I mean, I would never ever leave this room. This is so beautiful. I love how they're mixing all these different chairs and seating options, like the log table plus the rattan chair. The log chair and sofa, they kind of match really well together, and I've never thought to mix those two. So really great inspiration all throughout here. Just look at how beautiful this is. Back on the island now, it's got a little brighter outside since we were last out here. The island is set at early morning, but the longer you stay on the island, like me, it may get a little bit brighter out, and I don't mind that because I feel like we can see everything in some different light. Right here behind those two houses, there's this kind of transition area, a little centerpiece with the waterfall, and then a really cute little garden area, a little plant shop. This is a great idea, especially if you love greenery, to be able to use all of those different plant items and set them up just as their own little shop. And it's just so good. Again, their pathing is amazing. This little faux building that they've created here as well looks so good. And I don't know, I haven't seen an island like this in a while that is fully just using like flat land and creating these spaces fully through pathing and little sections. This is really hard to do. Like, look at this beautiful pathway here. Anywhere that you look, you're just surrounded by greenery. I love the cars. I love that it feels real with some of this like concrete pathing. It's just done so well. Before I get back there, I feel like I've missed some things to like the front left side of the island. So we're going to do that first. I was getting excited, and this island is really easy to just kind of walk around and get lost in. So I want to make sure we stay on track. Also, all of their signs are super minimal, like all of the codes that they're using, and I think it just works very, very nicely. Even putting these two kind of outdoor stalls facing each other fills in that space really beautifully. There's so much just great little gems to take from, like to take inspiration from this creator. So over here, this was to the left of the entrance, and there's some kind of setup on the beach here as well. I love that they've added like the little surfboard, some pathing on the beach, and just having this little kind of setup adds so much life to the beach, which I think is nice since I'm definitely getting a very beachy vibe from this overall island. And these little kind of details just all throughout here, like adding the log bench and some of the bistro tables. You really don't have to do much on your beaches for it to just feel very lived in, very realistic. Like, this is just gorgeous. And the scattered paper is always a great touch if you're looking to fill in some kind of pathing and space throughout. Just such a great job all around. I really always love this creator's island, so I've been really excited to tour this one because I haven't got to it yet, and they always just, I don't know, they knock it out of the park every time. Okay, so we're back here in this little kind of transition area, and now I am going to go to the back area that we almost went to before, but I'm glad we saw what was in front there. So this path, again, I'm just so in awe of how beautiful this is, all of the foliage, all of the greenery. And then if we come over here, like, look at all of this. You can so easily just do a filler area with trees and plants and it will look beautiful, but I love that they're creating these little kind of setups. I'm definitely getting a very kind of plant shop vibe all throughout here. It seems maybe garden themed in a way, and they're really just making such good use of all the different plant items. And if that's your favorite kind of item, which is one of mine, it's such a good idea to create those little stalls and setups. Look at this over here too. Oh my god, this is such a great kind of desert feel throughout here with the cacti and even the types of buildings. By doing these all white buildings, it's just something I feel like I would see in like California or more of these kind of beachy towns. Look at all of the detail here too. I'll just kind of pan up. This looks like a little bakery shop, lots of seating, little places to kind of wash your hands as well. All of these little details that are just hard to think of in the moment. So getting to see some inspiration like this is always really helpful if you're creating something similar. And some more little seating on the beach also. Done so nicely. The white incline is so good also. I love it for this island. There's even a little like walkway over here with some vending machines. This is a great way to end a straight path if you're kind of wondering how to end a pathway. This is so cool, just having a little seating area, some of the vending machines, very, very nicely done. Even some kind of filler back there with some of the bistro tables to help again with that dimension and depth of the island. Really beautiful setup for their museum as well. The museum actually fits beautifully on this island because it is so light in color, really matches their color palette. And again, another little plant sign here, even some boba on the table. I mean, their aesthetic is just truly impeccable. Look at all of this here. And then in that back filler area, I'll kind of open up the camera here. We have lots of kind of trees and plants, which just adds so much to that overall view when you kind of pan your camera up. I'm gonna go down this little incline now, and we have a really cute little pathway. We're running into some of their villagers also, and look at all of this. Oh my gosh, I don't even know where to go first. I think I'm gonna go back here But again, their pathing is so well done. Look at these kind of little water ways throughout here done with the pathing. It brings so much kind of brightness and light to the island. And as you go back here, it looks to be this little like kind of public pool area. Very fancy though, like all of the columns that they have, the car that's parked here definitely feels like a very kind of like rich, expensive pool to be hanging out at. And great little touches like the shoes on the floor, the little ukulele on the stool. Very, very well done. And I love how it's kind of fenced in also with all of these different walls, all of the different plants. It really just fits in so beautifully with their island. Let's see what else is over this way. So we have some seating areas, lots of symmetry going on here also, which I think is helping, especially because this is such a structured town. There is symmetry, but it feels so natural at the same time that it still feels organic and beautiful. Then we even have some little like kind of stalls all throughout here, a little bit of like a European feel as well. Little place to sit, get a cup of coffee. And then over here, a little bake shop, which looks to be kind of included with this villager's house here. I'm just going to take a step back because look at how beautiful this is. The way that they've set up their paths, the scooters that are parked here, the little tables outside. Also, this like water fountain works really nicely with their color palette on this island. And I really like that they've made all of the villager houses almost into little shops or stores, so the town just feels very lively and again, realistic. This is really just so beautiful. So this is to the right of that little plant shop that we had seen before, just to kind of orient ourselves a bit, make sure that we kind of know what we've seen and what we may have not seen yet on the island. I'm going to walk up this way and just kind of wrap back around here. So this is if we were to go to the right of resident services. So we had went in this villager house before. There was this, in the rep house before, there was this villager house here. And if we walk around here, I'm just going to kind of pan up. They've done such a great job just curating this really muted, neutral color palette. All of these faux buildings too, there's just so much, again, like inspiration to take, what items to kind of mix and match with that you may not have thought to use together before. And there's something about a natural town, natural like villager houses and just setting up villager yards that is always just so, that's my favorite part of decorating and designing, is getting to play with the houses, the villages. This is just honestly a 10 out of 10 island in my opinion. I don't know how people do islands like this and just create them to flow so nicely. So this is why I love just checking out these islands and seeing what inspiration we can take and gather. This little canal area is done so nicely. I think this is some of the water that we had seen on the map, probably leads to one of their river mouths. And I think a canal is always a great idea, especially if you do have a more structured town. I think it just works really nicely to kind of have these transition areas, add a little bit of water and movement to the island also. And they've even added in a bridge on the side here, which I don't see done often with canals. It's usually just the two bridges on the same kind of waterway, but we have this bridge as well, which adds a lot of kind of also interesting dimension and flow to the island. Just going to kind of walk through here also. This is to the right of resident services. There's so much to take in here. I'm just like totally blown away by how gorgeous this is. I think, especially if you're doing a structured town, so much to take in here. Love these little kind of like transition pathways as well. And then we have another little kind of neighborhood here. Again, having those matching houses near each other is really nice to make a neighborhood feel cohesive. We have some of the wood planks on the floor and so much detail just throughout here, like the little table setups and all of that. If we walk down throughout this way, we have a couple more stalls. They're using those menu signs to make it clear that it is a little shop area, little kind of DIY space also. I haven't seen that item actually. The one to the left there, if I kind of zoom in, I'm not sure exactly what item that is or if it's just a code on the table, but it's really cool to see something like that done, like this little kind of paint workspace. And then there's even some more over to this side. Looks like a place where you just can kind of sit, work, and it just adds so much kind of fun to this island. And then over here, maybe this is a little pottery area. That's what I'm getting from the sign. This is so cool and creative, like thinking about all of these little kind of spaces that you can have on your island. It just shows you how much you can do with the game. And then this is really interesting how they've treated their campsite to really fit in this very structured town, all of the tile underneath. You don't really see campsites like this often, which is really cool. Like even the custom code that they have on all of those panels is really nice. It really immerses you in the look and feel of this island, this little like kind of bougie area for camping, hanging out. I absolutely love that. And then over here, just some kind of filler space as well with some of the trees, some of those kind of outdoor cases also. I'm gonna walk up this way a bit and see, okay, we can't go through that way. So I'm gonna head back towards the kind of main pathway that we just came down, and then we will head over towards the right side of the island. Okay, so I'm gonna go up this little incline here and see what we have. Just look at this, the fencing, the pathing. I am just in love with this island. Like, are you kidding me? This is so good. Look at the bike placement. This just looks like an actual painting. It's so beautiful. And those little signs that they have, the custom codes that they did, just are so aesthetic and gorgeous. And you know what, they're using so many different paths that it really makes the island kind of feel fresh and fun. It still feels really cohesive because of the color palette, but there's lots of different paths and things that they're using. We kind of pan up here. Look at all of the work that they've done to make these houses look bigger by using the panels and different kind of building structures as well. Having the cars parked to make it feel very real. Like, this is just gorgeous. I can't get over the talent of this creator. I love it. Like, look at how beautiful that is with these little clocks on each of the kind of square codes that they have here. And there's a little kind of park area. This is a really fun little mix into the pathing, how they're dealing with some of these more natural areas. Really, really nice. And I always love a little park or kind of like sports type of court of some sort. Over here, you can get another view of some of the work that was done below. I think we can also see the secret beach. Look at all these little seating areas over here too. Just shows you how much you can do while staying on theme with one kind of specific color palette as well. And then there's this really fun little kind of walkway over here, which takes you over to their secret beach. I love that it's accessible. I love being able to take advantage of the secret beach. And I didn't realize before that this is actually right next to the campsite, which is really cool for, you know, any of those campsite visitors to be able to get onto the beach. So I'm gonna head back up here. I noticed that we do have another resident rep house, and it looks like it might be a bakery because I'm seeing a coffee sign in front. I'm not sure if that's related. And I'm not sure if this one's decorated, but let's check it out. Amazing. This one is decorated. Look at how beautiful. Of course, tons of greenery. I wouldn't expect anything less from this creator. There's a little coffee kind of cafe shop over to the left. We're seeing like an espresso bar, lots of little places to sit. Also looks like maybe you can buy some clothes here, which is interesting. I always thought it'd be fun to kind of mix any kind of store with a coffee shop and a plant shop. So I think this is really fun. This definitely would be right up my alley and a cafe that I would definitely come into. Okay, so the other rooms in that house were not decorated, which makes sense because that's just more of a kind of like bakery little shop that we have on the island. And then really just want to look at all the detail that they have here, all of the codes that they've used on the panels, really just adds so much to these spaces. And then I'm seeing Able Sisters over here, so this is definitely a bit of a shopping district. And if we kind of back up a little bit more as well, I just love that little entryway with the incline here coming up into that shopping district. It's really beautiful. I think with an island like this that's so structured, it's really important to be able to have some of these kind of faux buildings because it adds that realistic feel to the town. So coming down here over to the right of that little park area, there's some more seating going on, lots of greenery again as well, so it doesn't feel too kind of cold. It has a little bit of that warmth coming in through the natural foliage, which I love. Love these little centerpieces also. And then we have some more villager houses over here as well, just fitting in so nicely. These may also be shops as well. I'm not sure what those signs say, but either way, whether they're villager houses or shops, it just all is done so beautifully. This is just so, so gorgeous. I have no more words to say. And then as you come down here, there's this kind of little walkway area, which was right over by that side of the canal as well. So really nice just how they've added in some water features to this very structured town. And as we come over here, we have Nook's Cranny. And to make it fit within their aesthetic, I love that they've added in some of these white display cases and really added in that pergola, some of the little lights as well. It's just so beautiful. I love how they've made that fit in with their island. So there's always a way to make any of the buildings work with your island's aesthetic. Looks like a little parking garage or like parking lot over here, a little junkyard, little place to get gas. So they've really thought about everything, and they've really filled in these beachy areas as well. I'm not sure if there's anything on the pier. I've noticed this trend of not putting anything on your pier, and I'm kind of into it. I think the pier itself is beautiful and it doesn't need too much. So don't go crazy trying to decorate it if it just doesn't work with your island theme. Also, the cactus on the beach always fits in really nicely because of that sand base that it has. I always am getting myself stuck, so let's come back around through here and walk back over the canal. I do feel like we've seen the majority of this island. I'm just going to kind of wrap back to the entrance and see if there's anything that we may have missed, but I think that we may have seen everything on this island. It is so, so beautiful. I really just know that this is an island that I will definitely be coming back to visit again, because it's one that just has so much inspiration when it comes to structure, when it comes to overall aesthetic, keeping kind of cohesive with a color palette as well, which is not easy to do while making it feel so fresh and fun and exciting. I could definitely just run around this island all day. That being said, I highly recommend coming to visit this island. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know whatever you would like to see next, if there's any kind of island themes that you really are looking for some inspiration for. But thank you all for being here. I truly appreciate you all so much. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!